The Mercedes explodes through the guardrail at 140 kilometers per hour. Metal screams. Glass shatters. Min Jun's tattooed hands grip the steering wheel as the world flips, once, twice, 3 times before the luxury sedan crumples against the concrete embankment like a discarded cigarette pack. Steam hisses from the engine. Blood trickles down his forehead, warm and metallic. But Kong Min Jun doesn't scream. He smirks. Because 30 meters away, hidden in the shadows of the Gangnam overpass, Dr. Park watches through night vision binoculars, a syringe of sedative already prepared. The accident was choreographed down to the millisecond the tire blowout, the calculated trajectory, even the exact angle of impact to bruise but not break. Min Jun had paid 3 million won for this performance, and as sirens wail in the distance, he knows the curtain has finally risen. "Boss, are you conscious?" Dr. Park's voice crackles through the earpiece before yanking it free and crushing it beneath his heel. Min Jun lets his eyes roll back. His breathing slows. His fingers go limp. Let the test begin. The private room at Seoul Medical Center smells of antiseptic and lies. Min Jun lies motionless beneath starched white sheets, his muscular frame deliberately slack, his neck brace pristine. Monitors beep rhythmically. An IV drips saline into his tattooed forearm, the dragon's tail curling around his wrist, now marred by medical tape. Through half-closed eyelids, he watches the door. Waiting. Sujene will arrive soon. His fiancée. The woman who wore Cartier bracelets to breakfast and answered his marriage proposal with, "Will I get my own Amex Black, or do we share?" She'd laughed, of course, claimed she was joking, kissed him with lips that tasted of champagne and ambition. But Min Jun hadn't built Seoul's most feared criminal empire by trusting beautiful smiles. The door creaks open. Footsteps approach sharp Louboutin heels clicking against tile with mechanical precision. Here we go. Sujene enters, her Chanel sunglasses pushed atop her perfectly styled hair, despite the fluorescent hospital lighting. Her expression cycles through shock, concern, calculation, all in 3 seconds flat. She rushes to his bedside, manicured fingers hovering above his bandaged head as if touching him might shatter the performance. "Min Jun! Oh my God, baby, can you hear me?" Her voice trembles with practiced desperation, but her eyes dart briefly to the Patek Philippe watch on his wrist. Still intact, still worth more than most people's yearly salary. Min Jun remains frozen, paralyzed, silent. Sujene's phone buzzes. She glances at it, types a rapid response, then returns her attention to him with renewed theatrical anguish. "The doctors said. They said you might never walk again. That your spine." Her voice breaks convincingly, almost too convincingly, but it's the phone that interests him, the secretive angle, the quick, guilty glance toward the door before typing. Min Jun's mind catalogues everything, her relief disguised as grief, her subtle assessment of his injuries, the way her fingers linger near his gold chain but never touch his actual skin. As the nurse enters to check his vitals, Sujene steps back, composing herself, pulling out a compact mirror to fix her lipstick. And Min Jun, broken, helpless, paralyzed. Kong Min Jun allows himself the smallest, most dangerous smile when no one is looking. "You want my empire, Sujene. Let's see how far you'll go to take it." Outside the hospital room, Sujene's phone illuminates with a message. Is he really paralyzed? Can he sign documents? Her thumbs fly across the screen. Completely helpless. "We move next week." She presses send, deletes the conversation, and walks back inside wearing a grief-stricken mask that could win awards. Will Min Jun's plan expose the woman he thought he loved, or will his fake paralysis become his real grave? The loyal Maid is coming, and she sees everything. Don't look away now. You'll regret missing what happens when Zara enters that room. Keep reading because betrayal has only just begun, and the truth will shatter everyone. Sujene returns the next morning with a bouquet of white lilies funeral flowers. Min-jun notices immediately. The symbolism isn't lost on him. Lilies for death, for mourning, for goodbye. She arranges them on the windowsill with theatrical precision, her Hermes Birkin bag casually resting on the chair worth more than the hospital bed. She's dressed in black Prada, as if already in mourning, though her diamond earrings catch the morning light with aggressive brilliance. "Baby, I've been thinking," she begins, perching delicately on the edge of his bed without actually touching him. "We need to discuss practical matters, your businesses, your assets. Someone needs to manage things while you recover." There it is. Min-jun's fingers remain motionless against the sheets, but inside, his mind sharpens like a blade. Through his barely open eyes, he watches her scan the room, cataloging, calculating, claiming. "I spoke with attorney Kim," Sujene continues, pulling out her phone with manicured nails painted blood red. "He says we can establish a medical power of attorney. Just temporary, of course, until you're better." Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. "Just sign here when you can move your hand again." She places a document on the bedside table. The header reads, "I.R. Irrevocable Transfer of Executive Authority." Min-jun's jaw tightens imperceptibly. Sujene leans closer, her Chanel No. 5, overwhelming the antiseptic smell. "I'll take such good care of everything, Min-jun. Your clubs, your properties, your accounts, I promise." She kisses his forehead, cold and brief, like sealing a business transaction. Her phone buzzes. She glances at it, her mask slipping for half a second, a flash of irritation, then eagerness. "I need to take this," she murmurs, stepping into the hallway. Through the partially open door, Min-jun hears fragments. "Yes. The paralysis is confirmed. Complete transfer within 72 hours. No. He suspects nothing. The fool actually trusts me." Her laughter echoes sharp, predatory, triumphant. Min-jun's heart rate monitor spikes briefly. A nurse glances in, concerned, but he forces his breathing to steady. Rage burns beneath his manufactured helplessness, white-hot and focused. 3 days. She's giving herself 3 days to steal everything I've built. But fury is a luxury he can't afford. Not yet. He needs evidence. He needs witnesses. He needs her to reveal every co-conspirator, every hidden account, every piece of her treacherous puzzle before he strikes. Sujene returns, sliding her phone into her bag with practiced ease. "Sorry, baby. Just some administrative issues with our properties." She squeezes his hand, the first genuine physical contact, and he feels nothing but cold ambition in her grip. "Don't worry about anything. I'll handle it all." She rises, adjusting her sunglasses. "I'm meeting with your accountant this afternoon. And your lawyer tomorrow. We'll get everything sorted while you focus on recovery. Recovery from an injury I don't have." As she clicks toward the door, she pauses, glancing back with an expression that might fool anyone who doesn't know her playbook. "I love you, Min-jun. We'll get through this together." The door closes. Silence swallows the room, and Min-jun finally allows his eyes to open fully, staring at the ceiling with lethal clarity. His phone hidden beneath the sheets, recording everything, captures one final sound. Sujene's voice in the hallway, crystal clear. "Tell Mr. Chen the deal is on. Once I have the power of attorney, the sole docs are his. Min-jun will never know." The recording stops. Min-jun's tattooed fists clench beneath the blankets. She's not just stealing his empire, she's selling it piece by piece. But the paralyzed Mafia boss has one advantage she doesn't know about. He can hear, he can think, and he's already 10 steps ahead. The Maid is about to walk through that door, and everything changes. Don't stop now. The door swings open at 6:47 a.m., and Zara Johnson doesn't knock. She never knocks. The Brooklyn-born Maid strides in with a breakfast tray balanced on one hand, her standard black and white uniform pristine except for the scuff marks on her practical shoes. No sympathy softens her dark eyes as she surveys Min-jun's paralyzed form. No theatrical gasps, no whispered prayers. Just a raised eyebrow and a voice sharp enough to cut through his act like a scalpel. You gonna keep pretending? Or we gonna talk about how your left foot twitched 3 times while I was watching from the doorway? Min-jun's eyes snap open fully, genuine surprise cracking through his performance for the first time in 36 hours. Zara sets the tray down with a decisive clack. Yeah, that's what I thought. Breakfast is getting cold, and I don't do theater before coffee. She pours herself a cup from his carafe without asking, settling into the visitor's chair like she owns it. How Min-jun starts, his voice hoarse from disuse. How'd I know? Zara sips her coffee, unfazed. I've worked for you for 8 months, boss. I know you don't breathe that shallow when you sleep. I know your resting heart rate is 62, not 90. And I definitely know you'd never let Sujine put funeral flowers in your hospital room without ripping her a new one unless you were watching her do it on purpose. She leans forward, her gaze direct and uncompromising. So what's the play? Testing the fiancé? Seeing who's loyal when you're down? Zara doesn't wait for confirmation. Smart, except you're doing it sloppy. That nurse knows something's off. Dr. Park's a terrible liar. I saw him sweating in the hallway. And Sujine? She scoffs. That woman couldn't act her way out of a paper bag, yet somehow you're letting her think she's fooling you. Min-jun studies her, this woman he hired to clean his penthouse, who somehow sees through everything. Why haven't you exposed me? He asks carefully. Because, Zara says, standing and adjusting his IV with professional efficiency, I want to see how this plays out. And because, unlike everyone else in your life, I don't need your money. I need this job, sure, but I don't need you. Which means I'm the only person in this building you can actually trust. She moves to the window, straightening those funeral lilies with deliberate irony. Plus, Sujine's a piece of work. I heard her on the phone yesterday talking about liquidating your assets. Someone should take her down. And if you're smart enough to fake paralysis, you're smart enough to need backup. Min-jun says nothing for 17 seconds. Zara waits, sipping coffee, utterly unbothered by his infamous intimidation tactics. Finally, he speaks. What do you want in return? Nothing. She meets his eyes. I just want to watch a liar get what's coming. Consider it entertainment. Zara heads for the door, then pauses. Oh, and boss, that document she left yesterday, the power of attorney? She pulls a folded paper from her apron pocket. I swapped it with a decoy. The real one's locked in your safe at home. You're welcome. She exits before he can respond. Min-jun stares at the closed door, a genuine smile crossing his face for the first time since the accident. He'd found his ally, and she didn't even want payment. The maid just became the MVP. While Sujine schemes in designer heels, Zara's playing chess in sensible shoes, and she's already 3 moves ahead. But what else does she know? And why is she really helping? Keep reading. The gala is coming, and blood is about to spill. Min-jun returns home 3 days later in a custom wheelchair titanium frame, leather cushions, every inch a symbol of calculated vulnerability. Sujine greets him at the penthouse entrance with champagne and crocodile tears, but her eyes scan the wheelchair with barely concealed satisfaction. Behind her, the staff stands in formation, his driver, his chef, his security team, and in the back, polishing a silver tray with methodical precision, Zara catches his gaze and offers the slightest nod. The game continues. Welcome home, baby, Sujine coos, wheeling him inside with exaggerated care. I've had your bedroom completely redesigned. Everything's accessible now. Ground floor. Medical equipment. I thought of everything. Min-jun surveys his own home transformed into a gilded cage. Hospital bed, mechanical lift, reinforced railings. She'd redecorated his empire into a prison. You've been Busy, he says flatly. Well, someone has to manage things. Sujani's smile sharpens. I've scheduled meetings with all your business partners this week, just to reassure them that operations will continue smoothly during your recovery. Operations she plans to redirect into her own accounts. Zara. Sujani snaps suddenly, noticing the maid lingering. Mr. Kong needs his medication. Fetch it from the pharmacy delivery. Zara doesn't move immediately, her gaze locked on Minjun. Boss? She asks, pointedly ignoring Sujani's authority. Minjun nods once. Go. As Zara exits, Sujani's mask slips just for a moment, revealing cold irritation. That maid is too familiar with you. Maybe we should replace her. Zara stays, Minjun says with quiet finality. Tension crackles between them. Sujani's phone chimes. She glances at it, her expression flickering through calculation before resettling into false sweetness. I need to take this call. Business. I'll be in your study. My study, my business, already claiming ownership. She disappears upstairs, her heels echoing like a countdown. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rings. Minjun watches through the panoramic windows as a courier delivers a black box, no return address, no company logo, just his name in silver lettering. Zara returns from the pharmacy, intercepting the package. She carries it to him, her expression tight with concern. This wasn't scheduled, she murmurs, setting it on his lap. Minjun opens it carefully. Inside, a single photograph. It's him, leaving Dr. Park's office, 3 weeks ago, before the accident. Beneath the photo, a typed note. I know what you're doing. The question is, does she? Zara peers over his shoulder, reading the note. Her jaw tightens. Someone knows, she whispers. Not someone, Minjun corrects, his voice ice cold. Someone Sujani hired. From upstairs, Sujani's voice drifts down laughing, confident, negotiating on the phone about his properties, his accounts, his life. Zara meets his eyes. What do we do? Minjun's tattooed hands grip the wheelchair arms, knuckles white with controlled fury. We make her think she's winning, he says quietly, and then we bury her. That night, as the penthouse sleeps, Zara reviews the security footage on Minjun's hidden laptop. The courier who delivered the package. He entered the building using Sujani's guest access code. She zooms in on his face, recognizes him. Her blood runs cold. He's not a courier, he's an assassin, and he's been inside the building for 6 hours. The fake paralysis was supposed to expose betrayal, not invite murder. Someone wants Minjun dead for real, and Sujani might not be working alone. The gala is tomorrow. Blood will spill. Secrets will explode. And Zara just became the only thing standing between a mafia boss and a bullet. Don't stop reading. You'll hate yourself if you miss what happens next. The charity gala glitters with Soul's Elite, a symphony of champagne flutes, string quartets, and calculated smiles. Sujani orchestrated everything. The venue, a 5-star hotel ballroom, the guest list, investors, politicians, rivals, and the narrative, supporting my paralyzed fiancé's recovery. She glides through the crowd in a blood-red Valentino gown, accepting sympathy with practiced grace, while her eyes hunt for opportunities. Minjun sits in his wheelchair near the silent auction table, a prop in her performance. His tailored Tom Ford suit conceals the knife strapped to his spine and the recording device in his pocket. To everyone watching, he's the tragic figure Soul's fallen king, powerless and diminished. But his eyes miss nothing. Across the ballroom, Zara works the catering line in her standard uniform, refilling glasses and clearing plates with mechanical efficiency. To the guests, she's invisible, just another servant. But every 5 minutes, her gaze finds his, confirming positions, tracking threats, communicating in the silent language they've developed over 3 days of collaboration. Because the assassin from the package? He's here. posing as a waiter. Third column, black bow tie, bulge under his left arm that's definitely not a corkscrew. Ladies and gentlemen. Sujene's voice echoes through the microphone, commanding attention. Thank you all for coming tonight. As many of you know, my fiancée Kong Min-jun suffered a devastating accident last week. She gestures toward him with theatrical anguish. Cameras flash. Guests murmur sympathetically. But Min-jun is a fighter, Sujane continues, her voice breaking on cue. And with your support, your donations will ensure he receives the best care available. Every contribution tonight goes toward his recovery fund. Recovery fund that doesn't exist. Money that'll disappear into her offshore accounts. Min-jun watches her perform, his expression neutral, but his fingers curl against the wheelchair arms. Zara, 20 feet away, catches his eye and taps her watch twice. 10 minutes until the plan. Sujane descends from the stage, working the crowd with predatory precision. Donors fawn over her bravery. Investors whisper about transition opportunities. She's building her empire on his supposed corpse. But as she approaches a cluster of Seoul's wealthiest CEOs, her heel catches. The Persian rug buckles. She stumbles, arms flailing, champagne glass flying, and crashes headfirst into the marble display column. The sound is sickening. Crystal, bone, screams. Blood pools beneath her perfectly styled hair, dark and spreading against the white marble like spilled wine. The ballroom erupts into chaos. Everyone freezes. The guests, the staff, the cameras. Everyone except two people. The assassin who reaches for his concealed weapon, seeing opportunity in chaos. And Zara, who sprints across the ballroom, shoving through frozen bystanders, dropping to her knees beside Sujane's bleeding body without hesitation. Call an ambulance, Zara shouts, pressing her apron against the wound, her hands steady despite the blood. Now. Min-jun watches from his wheelchair, paralyzed by choice but moved by something unexpected. Zara didn't hesitate, didn't calculate, didn't think about consequences. She just acted. Sujane's eyes flutter open, unfocused and terrified. Min-jun, she whispers through blood-stained lips. He doesn't move, can't move, won't break his cover. But Zara holds pressure, murmurs reassurance, sacrifices her uniform to save a woman who's actively destroying her employer. Because that's who she is. The assassin, seeing his window closing, melts into the panicking crowd. Security rushes in. Paramedics arrive. Sujane is loaded onto a stretcher, still conscious, still calculating even through her injury. As they wheel her past Min-jun, her hand shoots out, gripping his. Don't let them take everything, she whispers desperately. Promise me, Min-jun. Promise you'll protect us. Us. Still playing the role. Still performing. Even bleeding and broken. She's scheming. The ballroom empties. Police take statements. Zara stands alone, covered in Sujane's blood, her hands trembling now that the adrenaline fades. Min-jun wheels toward her. You saved her, he says quietly. Why? Zara looks at him, exhausted and honest. Because she's a human being, and because unlike her, I'm not a monster. She turns to leave, but Min-jun catches her wrist. Zara. She stops. Thank you. Their eyes hold for 3 seconds, understanding, respect, something deeper neither acknowledges. Then Zara walks away, leaving bloody footprints on the marble. And Min-jun realizes with crystal clarity, the wrong person bled tonight, the wrong person showed loyalty. And the paralyzed boss just learned that love isn't found in designer gowns, it's hidden in a maid's uniform, covered in someone else's blood. But Sujane survived. And she's more dangerous than ever. The betrayal is about to explode. Keep reading, you're not ready for what comes next. Sujane returns from the hospital 2 days later, with 17 stitches and a victim narrative polished to perfection. She reclines on the penthouse's white leather sofa, an ice pack pressed to her bandaged temple, her silk robe artfully arranged to maximize sympathy. Visitors parade through, business associates offering condolences, reporters seeking statements, lawyers whispering about liability. Min-jun observes from his wheelchair positioned near the floor-to-ceiling windows, cataloging every interaction, every whispered phone call, every calculated tear. Zara works silently in the background, serving tea, collecting dishes, her uniform immaculate once again. But her eyes, sharp and vigilant, track Sujeni's movements like a hawk watching a snake. The doctors say I'm lucky to be alive. Sujen announces to her latest visitor, Attorney Kim, another inch to the left, and she trails off dramatically, dabbing at dry eyes with a handkerchief. Attorney Kim nods sympathetically. Which is why we should expedite the power of attorney. With both you and Mr. Kong experiencing medical crises, we need clear succession planning. There it is again, the push for control. Of course, Sujen agrees quickly. Min-jun's condition is stable, but permanent. Someone needs decision-making authority. Min-jun's jaw tightens imperceptibly. After Attorney Kim departs, Sujene immediately reaches for her phone, the tells Min-jun has learned to recognize. The furtive glance toward his wheelchair, the slight turn of her body for privacy, the rapid-fire typing. Zara, clearing the coffee table, accidentally knocks a spoon to the floor near Sujane's feet. As she bends to retrieve it, her eyes scan the visible phone screen. Later, in Min-jun's private study, the one room Sujene hasn't yet colonized, Zara reports what she saw. 3 messages, she whispers, pulling out her own phone with photographed evidence. First, the accident bought us time but not enough. Second, he's still legally competent. We need him declared mentally unfit. Third, Dr. Park can be persuaded. Everyone has a price. Min-jun studies the screenshots, his expression carved from ice. Dr. Park, he repeats slowly. The same doctor who staged my accident. She's flipping your own people, Zara confirms. Buying loyalty with money she doesn't have yet, promises backed by assets she plans to steal. A knock interrupts them. Sujene's voice, saccharine and insistent. Min-jun, are you in there? We need to discuss the business accounts. Zara moves toward the door, but Min-jun stops her with a gesture. Let her wait, he says coldly. They sit in quiet for 43 seconds, listening to Sujene's increasingly impatient knocking. Finally, Min-jun speaks. How deep does her network go? Deep enough that someone sent an assassin to your gala, Zara replies. I tracked the guest access code. It wasn't just hers, it was shared with 3 different burner accounts. She's not working alone. No. She's the face. Someone else is the brain. That night, at 2:47 a.m., Min-jun's phone buzzes with an anonymous message. No caller ID, no trace. Just a video attachment. He opens it. The footage shows Dr. Park loyal, trusted Dr. Park sitting across from a man whose face is obscured, accepting a briefcase of cash. The audio is crystal clear. When can you declare him mentally incompetent? Give me 2 weeks. I'll fabricate the medical records. Dementia, brain damage from the accident, whatever you need. And if he resists, then we make the paralysis permanent. The video ends. A new message appears. They're coming for you. Tonight, a friend. Min-jun's blood turns to ice. The doctor who staged his fake paralysis is now being paid to make it real. Sujene's betrayal has an architect, and they're done waiting. The empire is crumbling. The Maid is the only ally left. And somewhere in the soul darkness, an assassin is loading his weapon. Chapter 7 is where everything explodes. Don't stop now. Min-jun doesn't sleep. Instead, he wheels himself through the darkened penthouse at 3:15 a.m. Zara beside him, Both armed him with a Glock 19 concealed in his wheelchair cushion, her with a kitchen knife and the kind of Brooklyn street instinct that money can't buy. "Security cameras," he whispers. "Installed, while Sujane was at physical therapy yesterday," Zara confirms, pulling up the hidden app on her tablet. Every room except hers didn't want to tip her off. Motion sensors on all entry points. And I switched her sleeping pills with placebos. She thinks she's knocked out, but she's just tired. Minjun allows himself a ghost of a smile. "Remind me to give you a raise." "Remind me to accept it," Zara shoots back. They position themselves in the darkened study the room with the best sightlines and the reinforced door. On Zara's tablet, 12 camera feeds display the penthouse layout. Sujane's bedroom door closed. Lights off. The main entrance secured. The private elevator inactive. The service stairs empty. Waiting. At 3:47 a.m. Movement. Camera 7. 2 figures in tactical gear emerge from the service stairs the entrance-only staff should access. She gave them the codes. Zara breathes. The figures move with military precision, communicating through hand signals. One carries a medical bag, the other, a suppressed pistol. They're not here to steal, they're here to finish the job. Min Jun's hand moves to his concealed weapon, but Zara stops him. "Not yet. Let them get closer. We need them on camera making the attempt evidence even Sujane can't spin." The intruders reach Min Jun's bedroom, the decoy bedroom Zara prepared, complete with pillows arranged to mimic a sleeping body and a white noise machine for authenticity. Camera 4 captures everything in infrared. The first intruder approaches the bed, syringe ready, something that looks medical but reads lethal. The second provides cover, scanning for threats. The syringe descends toward the sleeping figure. Click. Every light in the penthouse explodes to life simultaneously. Alarms shriek. Steel shutters slam down over windows and doors, sealing exits. Seoul, Metropolitan Police have been notified. Zara's pre-recorded voice booms through the intercom system. "You have 30 seconds to surrender before private security arrives. You are being recorded from 17 angles. Resistance is futile and evidential." The trap springs shut. The intruders freeze, trapped in the bedroom, their faces fully visible on camera, their weapons and intent undeniable. One reaches for his radio. "Abort! Abort! It's a setup." The study door crashes open. Sujane stands there in her silk nightgown, hair wild, face pale with genuine shock. "What the hell is happening?" she demands, then sees the tablet in Zara's hands, the camera feeds, the intruders on screen. Her expression cycles through confusion, realization, horror. "Minjun?" she whispers, turning toward his empty wheelchair. He rises from the shadows behind her, standing, walking, completely unparalyzed. Her face drains of color. "Surprise," he says coldly. Sujane stumbles backward, her performance finally, utterly shattered. You can walk? You've been..." She can't finish, won't finish. "Testing you?" Minjun completes, stepping into the light. "Yes. And you failed spectacularly." Police sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Sujane's eyes dart between him, Zara, the tablet showing her hired assassins trapped and recorded. "I can explain." "Explain how you tried to steal my empire?" Min Jun's voice is surgical. "Explain the power of attorney fraud? Explain the meetings with my competitors? Or maybe explain why 2 men with syringes full of fentanyl just tried to murder me in my sleep using access codes only you possess." Tears stream down Sujane's face, real ones this time, born of desperation rather than performance. "They promised me," she starts. "Who?" Min Jun demands. "Who's paying you?" But Sujane's face hardens. The victim mask cracks, revealing something colder underneath. "You think you've won?" she hisses. "You think this is over? You have no idea how deep this goes, Min Jun. No idea who you're actually fighting. She backs toward the elevator. Sujane, don't, Zara warns. But Sujane slams her hand on the emergency override, a code Min-jun didn't know she had. The elevator doors open. She steps inside, her smile now twisted with venomous satisfaction. Enjoy your little victory, she says, because they're coming for you. And next time, there won't be a maid to save you. The doors close. The elevator descends. And by the time Min-jun overrides the system, by the time building security reaches the lobby, Sujane is gone. On the tablet, an email notification appears. Sender, S.J.K. Subject, checkmate. The message contains one attachment, a photograph of Zara's apartment building in Brooklyn. Circled in red, her younger sister's window. The text reads, "She saved you once. Can you save her?" The paralysis was fake. The betrayal was real. And now Sujane's mysterious partner has turned the game personal. They're not just targeting a mafia boss, they're targeting the one person he's learned to trust. Zara's family is in danger. Min-jun's empire is under siege. And Chapter 8 is where the truth finally detonates. Keep reading. You're in too deep to stop now. Min-jun's private investigator delivers the file at 6 a.m., 300 pages of evidence, financial records, and surveillance that unravels everything. Zara stands beside him in the study as he spreads documents across the mahogany desk. Wire transfers, shell companies, encrypted communications, photographs of meetings that should never have happened. It's not just Sujane, the investigator says grimly. It never was. Min-jun's fingers trace a corporate structure chart, following the money trail upward through a labyrinth of offshore accounts, each layer revealing another name, another conspirator, until he reaches the top. His blood turns to ice. Chen Enterprise Holdings. Principal investor, Victor Chen. Silent partner, Judge Kang Min-seo. Legal counsel, Attorney Kim. Medical consultant, Dr. Park. No, Min-jun breathes. But the evidence is irrefutable. Judge Kang, the man who presided over Min-jun's territorial disputes, who granted favorable rulings, who Min-jun trusted as an ally for 7 years, has been orchestrating his downfall from the beginning. Victor Chen wanted your docs, Zara says, reading over his shoulder. Judge Kang wanted your political leverage. Sujane was just the pretty face, the distraction. Another document, a contract dated 3 months before the accident. Marriage agreement, conditional asset transfer. Sujane's signature, Judge Kang's signature, Victor Chen's signature. The terms are brutal. Marry Min-jun. Gain his trust. Incapacitate him through accident or medical crisis. Transfer all assets to the consortium within 90 days. Compensation upon completion, $50 million and permanent relocation. She never loved you, Zara says quietly. She was a hired weapon. Min-jun's hands shake with rage so pure it's almost transcendent. The final page contains a timeline. Phase 1. Engagement. Complete. Phase 2. Accident. Incapacitation. Complete. Phase 3. Legal control. In progress. Phase 4. Asset transfer. Pending. Phase 5. Elimination. Scheduled. January 15th. Today's date. January 14th. They plan to kill him tomorrow. Confrontation. The reveal. Min-jun's phone rings. Unknown number. He answers on speaker. Good morning, Min-jun, Judge Kang's voice, smooth as poisoned honey. I assume you've received our itinerary by now. You arrogant bastard, Min-jun starts. Careful, Judge Kang interrupts. We have eyes on your maid's sister in Brooklyn. We have assets positioned outside your building. And we have enough legal documentation to seize everything you own before you can blink. So I suggest you listen. Silence crackles between them. Here's what's going to happen, Kang continues. You're going to sign the transfer documents Attorney Kim prepared. You're going to do it willingly, legally, irrevocably. And in exchange, we'll let you live. You keep your life, we keep everything else. And if I refuse? Then your maid's little sister becomes collateral damage. Then we release evidence to the police about your less legitimate business operations. Then you spend the rest of your significantly shortened life in prison, paralyzed for real this time. Judge Kang's laughter echoes through the speaker. You played a good game, Min-jun. Faking paralysis to test loyalty? Clever. But you were testing the wrong enemy. Soo-jin-ae was just a pawn. I am the king. And you've been in check since the moment you met her. The line goes dead. Zara's phone buzzes. A video message. Her sister, tied to a chair, terrified but unharmed. You have 4 hours, a distorted voice narrates. Sign the documents, or she dies. Zara's hand flies to her mouth, tears streaming silently. Min-jun sees her breaking and makes a decision. Pack a bag, he orders. You're leaving, now. What? Zara's head snaps up. This isn't your fight. You tried to help. You risked enough. But I won't let them kill your family because of my war. Min-jun. Go. His voice cracks with an emotion he rarely shows. Get your sister. Get out of Seoul. I'll wire you money. Disappear, please. But Zara doesn't move. Instead, she wipes her tears, straightens her spine, and meets his eyes with terrifying resolve. No. Zara. I said no. Her voice is steel. You want to know why I helped you? Why I didn't expose your act or run when things got dangerous? She steps closer, her intensity burning. Because I'm tired of rich, powerful men thinking they can buy people, use people, discard people. Soo-jin-ae was bought. Dr. Park was bought. But me? I can't be bought. And I sure as hell won't abandon someone when it gets hard. She grabs the transfer documents from the desk. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to destroy them. All of them. Judge Kang, Victor Chen, Soo-jin-ae, every single person who thought you were weak enough to steal from. Min-jun stares at her, this Brooklyn maid who somehow became his fiercest ally. How? He asks. Zara's smile is dangerous. With the one thing they never expected, the truth. At 11:30 a.m., Attorney Kim arrives at the penthouse with the final transfer documents, flanked by 2 of Victor Chen's security personnel. Mr. Kong, Kim says with false sympathy, I understand this is difficult, but time is running out. Sign now, and everyone walks away safely. Min-jun, back in his wheelchair for the performance, reaches for the pen. His hand trembles, whether from rage or fear. Kim can't tell. The pen touches paper. And then, every screen in the penthouse activates simultaneously. TVs, tablets, phones. A live broadcast begins. Judge Kang's face appears not in a courtroom, but in a hotel room with Victor Chen, reviewing documents labeled Kong Asset Seizure, Illegal. Audio plays, their voices detailing the conspiracy, admitting to bribery, confessing to attempted murder. The footage continues, Soo-jin-ae meeting with Chen, accepting payment, laughing about the paralyzed fool. Dr. Park signing false medical records. Attorney Kim drafting fraudulent contracts. Every piece of evidence, every confession, every crime. Broadcasting live to Seoul, Metropolitan Police, to the prosecutor's office, to every news outlet in the city. Attorney Kim's face drains of color. What? What have you done? Min-jun drops the pen, stands from the wheelchair, and smiles. I beat you at your own game. But before Kim can react, police sirens erupt outside. Helicopters circle. SWAT teams mobilize. Attorney Kim runs for the elevator. The doors open. Soo-jin-ae stands inside, handcuffed, flanked by detectives. Her eyes find Min-jun across the penthouse, filled with hatred and disbelief. How? She screams, "How?" But Min-jun doesn't answer. Because Sujene vanishes into police custody, dragged away still screaming threats and promises of revenge. And Min-jun turns to find Zara. Gone. The study is empty. Her phone on the desk. A single note in her handwriting. "Your sister is safe. The evidence is delivered. My job here is done. Don't look for me. Z." The empire is saved. The betrayers are exposed. Justice is served. But the one person who stood by him, the maid who saw through everything, has disappeared into the soul morning. Min-jun won the war, but lost. What? Someone he barely knows? Or someone who became everything? 2 chapters left. The ending will break you. The penthouse is too quiet. Min-jun stands at the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, the city that once feared him, that now celebrates his survival. News headlines flash across screens. Judge Kang arrested in massive corruption scandal. Victor Chen empire crumbles. Mafia boss outsmarts betrayers. Victory should taste sweet. Instead, it tastes like absence. 3 days since Zara disappeared. 3 days since her note. 3 days of private investigators finding nothing. Security footage showing her walking out the service entrance at 11:47 a.m. with a single backpack and no destination. Gone, as if she were never there. Min-jun returns to his study, the room where they planned, strategized, trusted each other when trust seemed impossible. Her tablet sits on the desk, wiped clean. Her apron hangs in the staff closet, laundered and folded. Every trace of her presence systematically erased, except for the memory. I can't be bought, and I sure as hell won't abandon someone when it gets hard. Her words echo in the emptiness. His phone rings. His head of security. "Boss, we tracked her to Incheon Airport. She boarded a flight to New York 3 days ago. Paid cash. Used a passport we can't trace. Trail goes cold in Brooklyn." Min-jun closes his eyes. "Stop looking." "Sir." I said stop. If she wanted to be found, she'd let us find her. He ends the call. For the first time in his criminal career, Kang Min-jun sits alone in his reclaimed empire and questions what victory actually means. He has his businesses back, his reputation restored, his enemies imprisoned or fleeing. But the woman who saved him, who stood beside him when everyone else either betrayed him or wanted him dead, chose to walk away. Why? He replays every interaction, her calling out his fake paralysis, her swapping the power of attorney documents, her rushing to save Sujene despite knowing the woman's treachery, her refusing to abandon him even when her sister's life was threatened. She never asked for payment, never demanded recognition, never wanted anything except to see a liar get what was coming. And then she vanished. A knock interrupts his thoughts. His housekeeper, a new one, older, professional, nothing like Zara, enters with the evening mail. "Mr. Kong, this arrived for you. No return address." She hands him a small package wrapped in plain brown paper. Min-jun opens it carefully. Inside, a flash drive and a handwritten note on familiar stationery. The note reads, "You asked me once why I helped you. Here's the real answer. Watch alone. Z." His hands tremble as he inserts the flash drive into his laptop. A video file appears, dated 6 months ago, long before the fake accident, before Sujune's betrayal was exposed. The footage shows a younger Zara in a hospital waiting room, sitting beside a woman who shares her features, her mother, dying of cancer. A man in an expensive suit approaches, Victor Chen. The audio is clear. "Miss Johnson, your mother's treatment is expensive. I can help. All you need to do is accept a position in Seoul. Work for a man named Kang Min-jun. Report on his activities. Simple domestic work with a little observation." Min-jun's breath catches. What kind of observation? Young Zara's voice, wary. His routines, his security, his vulnerabilities. "You'll be compensated well. Enough to save your mother." The video shows Zara's face desperate, conflicted, terrified. And then she says the words that change everything. No. No? Chen's surprise is evident. I won't spy on someone for money. I don't care how much you're offering. Find someone else. She walks away, leaving Chen furious. The video cuts to a second scene. Zara applying for Min Jun's staff position through legitimate channels weeks later. No Chen. No conspiracy. Just a woman who needed work and chose integrity over blood money. The video ends. A second note appears on screen, typed, I was never part of their plan. I was the one who got away. I helped you because I chose to, not because I was paid, not because I had to, because it was right. That's all you need to know. Be safe, boss. Z. Min Jun sits in the darkness. The video finished. Zara's true loyalty finally, completely revealed. She'd walked away from blood money to save her mother. She'd risked everything to save him. And she'd disappeared because she never wanted credit for doing the right thing. Min Jun doesn't move for 7 minutes. Just sits, breathes, feels. For the first time in a decade, tears threaten his eyes. Not from pain. From something far more dangerous. Gratitude. Respect. And perhaps something deeper he's not ready to name. That night, at 2 a.m., Min Jun's phone receives a message from an unknown number. The building at 47th and 8th in Brooklyn, 3rd floor. If you're brave enough. If you actually care. Z. He stares at the message for 30 seconds, then books a flight to New York. The empire is secure. The enemies are defeated. But the real battle, the one for something beyond power and revenge, is just beginning. One chapter left. One choice that will define everything. Min Jun faked paralysis to test loyalty. Now he's about to discover if a mafia boss can earn the trust of a Brooklyn maid who refuses to be bought. The ending is coming. Don't miss it. Min Jun lands at JFK International at 11:35 p.m. No security detail, no entourage. Just a man with a duffel bag and an address that might be a trap. 47th and 8th Avenue in Brooklyn materializes through the taxi window, a weathered brownstone squeezed between a bodega and a laundromat. Fire escapes, zigzagging up the brick facade like iron veins. Nothing like his soul penthouse. Nothing like his world. He pays the driver, steps onto the cracked sidewalk, breathes air that smells of asphalt, takeout, and possibility. 3rd floor. Apartment 3C. He climbs the stairs, each step echoing in the narrow stairwell, each breath carrying him further from the man he was and closer to something unknown. He reaches the door. Pauses. What am I doing here? But before he can retreat, the door opens. Zara stands in the doorway, wearing jeans and a faded Howard University sweatshirt, her hair loose instead of pinned back, her expression guarded but not surprised. Took you long enough, she says. You knew I'd come. I hoped you would. She steps aside. Get in here before someone recognizes you and we end up on TMZ. Zara's apartment is small, 1 bedroom, a kitchenette, second-hand furniture worn but clean. Photos cover one wall. Her sister, her late mother. Moments of Brooklyn life that Min Jun will never fully understand. She pours 2 glasses of whiskey without asking if he wants one. They sit on opposite ends of a thrift store couch, the space between them charged with unspoken words. Why did you disappear? Min Jun asks finally. Zara swirls her drink. Because my job was done. You didn't need me anymore. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She meets his eyes. You hired me to clean your house, Min Jun. I cleaned it. Literally and metaphorically. The betrayers are gone. Your empire is secure. What else is there? You. The word escapes before he can stop it. Zara's expression flickers surprise, vulnerability, something that looks like hope before she locks it down. I'm not part of your world, she says carefully. I'm a maid from Brooklyn who got caught up in a Korean crime drama. This, whatever this is, it doesn't translate to real life. Doesn't it? Minjun leans forward. You saw through my act when everyone else believed it. You risked your life when you had every reason to run. You refused blood money to spy on me. You. He stops, searching for words that don't come naturally. You're the only person who's been real with me in a decade. Because I had nothing to lose, Zara counters. I wasn't invested in your empire or your money or your reputation. I could afford to be honest. And now? Now it's complicated. She sets down her glass. You're Seoul's most feared mafia boss. I'm a girl who couldn't afford her mother's cancer treatment. We don't make sense. Nothing about the last 3 weeks made sense. Minjun says. I faked paralysis to catch a traitor and ended up discovering the only loyal person in my life was someone I paid minimum wage. If that's not absurd, I don't know what is. Zara laughs despite herself, a real laugh, not the careful professionalism she maintained in Seoul. You flew across the world to tell me that. I flew across the world because you told me to. Minjun's voice drops. Because for the first time in my life, someone walked away from me not because I pushed them away, but because they thought it was right, and I need to know if there's a world where you'd choose to stay. Zara is quiet for 18 seconds. Outside, Brooklyn moves car horns, distant sirens, the city's perpetual heartbeat. Finally she speaks. What are you offering, Minjun? Because I won't be your kept woman in a gilded cage. I won't be your project or your redemption arc. If this is guilt or gratitude or some savior complex, it's none of those things. He cuts her off. I don't know what it is, but I know that when you disappeared, the victory felt empty. I know that I replay our conversations more than I strategize business deals. I know that you're the first person I've trusted in. He pauses. Ever. Zara's eyes glisten. That's not love, Minjun. That's respect, maybe friendship, but you don't uproot your life for friendship. Then what do I do? The question is raw, unguarded, because I can't go back to Seoul and pretend you were just the help. I can't pretend that what we did, what you did, was ordinary. So don't pretend. Zara's voice softens. But don't make promises about a future you haven't thought through. You have an empire to run. I have a sister to protect, and a life that doesn't include bulletproof cars and hidden cameras. What if? Minjun starts. What if what? You move to Brooklyn? Give up everything you've built? We both know that's not realistic. What if you didn't have to choose? He pulls out his phone, shows her a document. Partnership contract. 50-50 ownership of my legitimate businesses, the hotels, the real estate, the import companies. Everything legal, above board, documented. Zara stares at the screen. You're insane. I'm serious. You proved you're smarter than any advisor I've paid. You outmaneuvered a judge, a tycoon, and my own fiancée. You saved my life and my empire. He locks eyes with her. I don't want a maid, Zara. I want a partner. Someone I can trust. Someone who'll call me out when I'm wrong. Someone who'll choose integrity over convenience. And if I say no, then I leave. Go back to Seoul. Send you a very generous severance package that you'll probably refuse out of principle. A ghost of a smile. And I'll spend the rest of my life wondering what if. Zara stands, paces to the window overlooking 8th Avenue. Minjun waits, his heart pounding with an unfamiliar sensation, genuine fear of rejection. When she turns back, her expression is complex, careful, conflicted, but not closed. I need time, she says finally. I need to think about what this means, what I'd be walking into, what I'd be giving up. How much time? I don't know. Weeks. Maybe months. She crosses her arms. I'm not Sujane. I don't make life-altering decisions based on money or charm or grand gestures. I need to know this is real, that you're real. Minjun nods slowly. Then I'll wait. In Brooklyn? If that's what it takes. Zara's eyes widen. You can't just... I can run my business remotely. I can learn to drink bodega coffee instead of imported espresso. I can... He stops, vulnerability cracking through. I can try to be someone worthy of your trust. For the first time since he arrived, Zara smiles genuine, unguarded. You really are insane. Probably. Min-jun stands, moves toward the door. But I faked paralysis to test loyalty. Flying to Brooklyn seems almost reasonable in comparison. He pauses at the threshold. One more thing, Zara. What? Thank you. For everything. For being honest when everyone else lied. For staying when you should have run. For... His voice catches. For showing me what loyalty actually looks like. Zara's eyes glisten with unshed tears. Get out of here before I start believing you, she whispers. Min-jun leaves, pulling the door closed behind him. But as he descends the stairs, his phone buzzes. A message from Zara. Apartment 3C. Breakfast tomorrow, 8 a.m. Don't be late. And bring better coffee than whatever bodega garbage you think is acceptable. Z. He reads it twice. Then smiles, really smiles for the first time in years. Min-jun exits the brownstone onto 8th Avenue. The Brooklyn night wraps around him unfamiliar, chaotic, strangely comforting. He pulls out his phone to arrange accommodation when a black SUV pulls up to the curb. The window rolls down. A woman in the back seat, elegant, cold, unfamiliar. Mr. Kong, she says in perfect Korean. We need to talk about Judge Kang's associates. The ones who weren't arrested. The ones who believe you owe them a debt. Min-jun's hand moves instinctively toward the weapon he's no longer carrying. The woman smiles, predatory, patient. Relax. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to offer you a choice. Return to Seoul and face a war you can't win alone, or accept our help. For a price. What price? That depends. Her eyes flick upward, toward the third-floor window where Zara's silhouette is visible. On what you're willing to sacrifice. The window rolls up. The SUV disappears into Brooklyn traffic, and Min-jun stands frozen on the sidewalk, realization dawning. The game wasn't over. It was just beginning. Min-jun faked paralysis to expose one betrayal, only to discover loyalty in the most unexpected place. He won his empire back but lost his certainty. He found trust but gained new enemies. And now, standing on a Brooklyn street corner between two worlds, he must choose. The empire he built, or the partnership he never knew he needed. Soo-jin-ae is in prison. Judge Kang is ruined. But someone else is watching. Someone else is waiting. And they know exactly where Zara lives. The loyal maid showed real love. But in Min-jun's world, love makes you vulnerable, and vulnerability makes you a target. Will they survive what comes next, or will the price of trust be higher than either of them can pay? The story continues. If you demand it, drop a comment, share this story. Let us know if Min-jun and Zara deserve a sequel, because the Seoul underworld isn't done with them yet.